Hey folks, this is E-Man with Kadesh Farm. I am out getting ready to rotate my one single cow in my rotational grazing plan. Yep, you heard me. One cow. Look at her. Such a beauty. She's a Holstein dairy cow mix. I wanted to get this plan going. Couldn't get my other cow loaded onto the trailer. She's been out here for a month and a half roughly. Not sure about the exact time frame. But I've been rotationally grazing her by herself that long, and she started way up there. As you can see, the fence row way up there. She's wanting to see what I'm pointing at. And I've rotated her thus far, giving her about 2 or 3 days on each little strip. I went to the USA Regenerative Agricultural Alliance Summit, and I learned so much. And one of the things that I was doing correct, and which I didn't know, was tightening up her lanes and making it a little bit smaller. Since I have one cow, make the lanes a lot smaller, make her do her job by putting manure on the ground, giving me good distribution of urine and manure to increase the carbon on the ground. And she's doing her part of trampling. And as you can see over here where she trampled a lot of the weeds and stuff, she may have eaten some. But over here, you can see a distinct line of where she has not been yet. And she is eagerly waiting on me to move her, but she is doing an excellent job of doing what I want her to do. We're working on getting the other cow out. And she don't like that wire. I'm happy about that. Working on getting the other cow and my sheep and all those things out here to help her. But she is holding it down all by herself. So the question is, does rotational grazing work? I'm going to answer that question again. Yes, it does. By looking at a lot of growth of different things that we have way up there. I don't feel like walking way up there right now. I don't have my four-wheeler, so I'm having to do everything from my Kubota because I have some grass I need to cut. Like I said, I've been away from her since last Monday. It's the last time I was here, and today is Sunday. She's been doing pretty good. She's eating the grasses. She's trampling a lot of the grasses, and I know I know for a fact that with her putting down manure and urinating, she's giving me good stuff for the ground. I'm not going to seed out here. I had thought about it. I have a area over there where I kind of did a food plot for deer, and I did another strip back there with some leftover pasture mix just to see what would grow. I'm kind of curious what would come out of it. It's roughly about 6 months old is what the bag was, and I'm not going to seed. I'm going to try. I don't know. I say I'm not going to seed because everything is so expensive nowadays. What I may do, what I'm going to do for sure is buy hay with seeds in it. It's free seeds. She will eat the hay, but spread all the little small seeds like clover and fescue and different things that are located inside of it. My goal is to buy hay that is a mixed hay. You see it all the time on Facebook Marketplace or Craigslist, mixed hay, and that's exactly what I want. Mixed hay with many different types of seeds in it. Hopefully it'll be desirable seeds. You never know. People say one thing, but you never know what's in it. But my goal is to make the attempt to buy some hay down the road because I've been watching that field. The guy's been haying it, and it has some things in there that I would love to have, especially the red clover, because this field 1, is pretty poor. The soil sample that I got back, the pH was 5.6, hence all the broom sage that we have out here. When we first bought this property, it was just a river of broom sage, which is still growing. But I also have since, it's a multiple rose bush. Need to get the goat out here to take care of that. But we also have lespedeza growing. I see some type of, yes, I see some fescue growing and clover and bits and pieces growing out here. So it's kind of working this way. They say when you put lime down, you can expect roughly about a year or so before you see the results. I kind of think you will start seeing results a little bit sooner, within at least 2 or 3 months. And I've noticed it out here because this place was a barren. I need to dig up some soil and just kind of get an idea what is underneath. Out here, I have not seen an earthworm. I did introduce some earthworms up by the tree on some manure patch that she had up there to try and get them started. The area up on the hill, my son and I were trying to dig a water line up, and oh my gosh, that ground is so compacted. So we're going to implement some things in place to get the soil going and lessen the compaction so we can get stuff growing and get the water to seep down into the ground instead of running on top. We first bought this property. When we would come out here in the wintertime, it would just be standing water everywhere. I mean, I didn't understand it, but going to the summit, oh my gosh, I learned so much about soil compaction and the results of it and how you can fix it by growing more topsoil or putting more organic matter on top of the ground and getting those microbes to work, and they will do that work for you. So I'm trying to make it easy on the microbes by giving them things to eat, like manure, to add the nutrients into the ground and put more carbon matter onto the ground. Like, well, I've been bush hogging a little bit when I first bought the property. And this stuff is beginning to break down pretty good. I know it's a work in progress, but I'm willing to put in the work and the time to get things going where we need to be. Again, we need more animals out here, but Molly is doing her job. I'm gonna start tightening up her lanes a little bit more, and so we can get more manure out here. But she's doing a pretty good job to be one cow. So does rotational grazing work? I believe it does. It's just gonna take a little bit of time depending on how many animals you have. You could do mob grazing. It's kind of hard to do mob grazing with one single cow, but we've been able to just keep rotating her. That's the area that she was in, and I noticed there is some, let's go over there and see, some new growth. Let's see what's growing. It's hard to see my screen to point where I need to point and see where I'm pointing at because it's so bright out here. But I noticed some new growth out here. Let me see if I've seen any clover. I do see some fescue, some foxtail. A lot of the grasses are starting to emerge from where she bit them off. So yes, we are getting some, that's a little butterfly. We are getting some new growth out here. Grasshoppers are everywhere. I would love to get my chickens out here and rotate them on this to start eating the grasshoppers. But boy, we got predation with hawks. You probably hear one in the background now. She was just over here last Monday. This is an area that I moved her from 2 weeks ago. You see the difference. Starting to get a lot more grasses growing, especially the underneath grasses that are growing pretty good. And we rotated her from over there. We got a lot of flowers. I mean, it's just a mixture of things that are growing, which makes the soil better. Just allowing different grasses to grow. This is not a monoculture. I'm allowing anything that can grow that is worth us having, allowing it to grow. What she can't eat, the butterflies and insects will take advantage of the things, and hopefully we just want to invite nature to do its thing to benefit Kadesh Farm. Oh, she's ready to move. I'm gonna go ahead and move her before she says some bad words to me. Look at that manure pad. To me, that is just black gold. I have not seen any dung beetles out here yet. I may from my other property. This is one of the things I learned from the class. Catch some dung beetles, bring them out here to the property to get them established. So next year, guys, if you could make it to the summit, please do. I've learned so much. I will be going over more and sharing more videos from the summit, but it was just amazing of the amount of things that you can do on your farm without spending a dime. It may just cost you a little bit of time with doing some just different things to amend the soil, but it'll be well worth it. This is Z-Man, and I'm out.